Rudy, I want you to give the audience an insight about who you are, because I know that you work deeply in the digital shift and the digital media. So can you just introduce yourself? I'm sure you do it better than anyone else.
I'm not a media person, but out of luck and out of what happened by COVID, بدنا نروح English or Arabic?
English?
Okay, yeah. So out of what happened into COVID, forced me to innovate myself, and this is where a podcast started called Digital Transformation Talks, and this is the word DX Talks comes from. So out of there, a few months later, we decided, we know what we have something, we have a success story. How can we do with it? And this is where I had corporate job for 20 years in finance and banking and technology. I had to re-innovate and then do something new, and that was the DX Talks. So how could I take my 20 plus years experience and then invest it into something totally new? I am digitally native, if I can call myself, and that shift with COVID and everyone staying home helped me a lot into formatting who I am and then how to move forward. And that's why my book, which will be released on the 23rd of June, is called Ruling the World in My Pajamas, is talking about this. So I'm a technology strategist in the world of blockchain, AI, cybersecurity, governance of technology, and a tech media founder of DX Talks.
Great. I want to ask the audience, how many among you are media or content creators?
Here we
Voila.
go. Growing.
Not bad as a ratio. And
Randa, if you're not a media creator, regardless you're a media company,
yeah.
you have to start your business. This is very important. It's not just a business, it's about you, it's a brand. You have to create your media brand.
Mm. And how many of you, yeah.
I don't know you.
Sorry?
You have not introduced yourself.
Yeah, I
you
did.
don't need.
Maria introduced me well, but
okay,
I'm going to say a word about me in a bit. But I want to see how many among you are using AI almost daily.
A lot.
ChatGPT mostly, or something else? Many tools. Okay, great. So, how many among you observed the shift that we are going through, like this? AI trend, like even, my team, whenever they are putting, as you know, I'm the founder of Leptivity.com, and we started in 2012, and in 2012 there was even no Instagram, so we are a website mostly, and when we started, it was,
a digital shift.
We had to shift with the technology. So at the point, Twitter was the thing, and then it was Instagram, and then it was Facebook, then it was Instagram, and now it's AI. So even my team, when they write a caption, sometimes they use AI. I can tell them this is AI. But
it's not bad to use it.
Yeah, but I mean, we can just fine-tune it.
Humanize it.
Humanize it, exactly. So when we say digital shift, I want you to tell me a bit about the digital shift. What does it mean, having a digital shift?
Aranda, you faced a digital shift, and then you created Leptivity and a lot of different things.
Yeah.
That was back in 2012. Of course, versus traditional media, you were a pioneer. And today you are reinventing yourself. But the whole difference of this digital shift, when we talk about digital transformation, at this point of time, we are rediscussing the digital aspect of redefining digital transformation into digital AI transformation. Because digital transformation has been there for 25, 28 years now. So things has changed with the release of the new ways of GPTs and OpenAI and all of those new ways of AI that humanized the way we discuss, the way we interact, and that was the big shift of the last 3 years. Now everyone can do it. So when we're going into a digital shift, usually it used to take a lot of time. Now instantly, you can create whatever you want. If you want to create an application, okay, a booking application, whatever it is, today you can create it under 5 minutes. If you want to create a media application, you don't need to learn code. You just need to learn prompting.
Yeah.
That shift that gave the power to the user, to the media person, to companies without going into something very advanced and so on, gave us, I think, a whole lot of power so that we can also innovate. We can dream and innovate, and then let it be fixed with experts and so on and so on. But the first scale or the first sample of what we want, today we can visualize it. Was it on visual aspect of video, or was it on audio aspect, or was it on content aspect, or was it on applications, or was it on a website, or whatever you want today, anything digital, I can create a sample of it and then launch it within the next 5, 10, 15 minutes, depending who you are.
So is this good for you? You think it's something good or not?
For those who are providing solutions, at this point of time, they are still valid. But we are also in a digital shift of workforce.
Yeah.
All right? So I get that question, are humans going to be replaced by AI or AI agents and so on? The reality, to some certain extent, yes, but to some other extent, at least within the next decade, they will be empowered. But who will be empowered are the people that will be using those technologies. If you decide today not to use those technologies, guess what? You will be disrupted, of course. And it's a whole age of disruption. The digital shift is a disruption. That transformation is a disruption today. It's versus the whole history of technology. What we see today is a new way of interacting with anything. So imagine now, I released my first digital employee last month. Who does the research, who does podcasting, he creates...
Can I headhunt him?
He creates the content.
I want to headhunt your digital employee.
Anytime. So he creates the content, he creates the format, the questions, upload them to a system, creates the podcast. You know, he has 2 discussions of 2 AI using Google LLM, if you don't know.
Your digital employee?
Adam.
His name is Adam.
And he releases it,
could have got
and
him.
he releases it automatically.
Wow.
You know, and then he releases, we have a newsletter, around 30, 40,000 emails. So he creates the emails, he does the research, and he does everything automated. We used to do that every month. Now we can do it weekly or daily, whatever we want, depending on the frequency. We have to check until further notice after this AI agent and adapt. But the automation and the pushing into, we have 15 platforms. Pushing into this 15 platform was a nightmare, even with automation. And today with AI, it's like the media aspect of controlling all of this. That's why sometimes I hear it a lot. Rudy, I get sick of you once I follow you because I'm all over the... And then we're leveraging on those new ways of technology versus the older ways of how companies work and the traditional media works.
But we are also observing that many people are becoming content creators, so bloggers, content creators, even if they have no experience. So how can media businesses stand out and build a sustainable model with all this, you know, easy access, let's say?
You are a media creator. I'm a media creator. Everybody that today starts shooting something becomes a media creator. Depending on the success, they continue or not. But it democratized the way that everyone can produce content today. And it's open and it's accessible versus the old days you had to pay thousands and thousands of dollars just to have 30 seconds versus today the platforms are open and free, and depending on the content that you produce, if it is funny, you'll have more reach. If it is about cooking, you'll have more reach. If it is about professionalism, you have less reach. So that's something we all face depending where you are in the business. But now when we come to the major part, I've been literally podcasting for 250 plus episodes of content, okay? That's only episodes. So when we look back, and especially after the 3rd year, we noticed that there is no monetization, at least for me, in my business model. I'm not a celebrity. I don't have the huge following. I don't have the huge budgets that, Rogan in the US spends millions of dollars, and then he has Elon Musk sitting next to him every other day, or the President Trump, and so on and so on. So we are different. And our economy in Lebanon and the Middle East is a total different economy from the US. If I want to make from ads money, in the US, for 1 million, you make $1,000. For 1 million here, I make $20, which is, it doesn't work in monetization. So there's a lot of platforms that started also on the podcasting side. They started adding monetization for sponsorship and so on within the platform itself. I use Podio, which is a proud Lebanese platform that distribute all over the Middle East, was at Anghami, in the Dubai taxis, on some airlines, and so on and so on. So that gives us more monetization. But still, for me, that's not my money, if I want to call it. But what we discovered, and this is where we changed everything 3 years ago, to become a media company so we can help B2B in production of podcasts, media content, creation, production, following them in the events and so on, creating pre-post events material so that we can be engaging. You know, you have an event within the next 6 months, so what do? You just post. We make it more interactive, more. And this is where we started making success stories with a B2B model for us. And that brought us, of course, the survival, because after 3 years not generating money, guess what?
But we are also observing, like with the digital shift and AI, some what I call dangerous aspects. Like, for example, when we saw visuals that are generated by AI,
Yes.
and we don't know if it's real or not. We don't know who's the copy. Like, what's the copyright? Who owns this artwork?
From,
Let's say,
from
yeah.
copyright perspective and deepfake perspective, because we have two different problems. From the deepfake perspective, I was called upon for a special assignment with not the Department of Defense, with the police, with the Lebanese police, regarding certain videos.
Well, they did?
Certain videos about one Lebanese star, if it's fake or not, and so on. So we had to run and help them out to figure out what's the best way for them to validate this is a deep fake.
Teach
and
us
so on.
also. You
Yeah,
wanna
I have a very good engine. It runs on 7 engines, and it
Okay.
detects many different things. It's a university project where they coupled many different things.
We saw also fake voice, fake videos.
Exactly. I was hacked a month ago. They tried, but they didn't succeed. And I was blackmailed that we will release all your pornography material and so on if you don't pay whatever. And I told them, please do release it and enjoy it, because there's nothing. But they could be doing, fakes on that topic. That's on the deepfake aspect. It is, of course, it needs ethics, it needs controls, it needs the platforms to go in, it needs a lot of regulations and so on. If we jump on the other side, which is the copyright from art perspective or generation, and now OpenAI, within the last few weeks, they actually released the create image and so on, and then we saw a boost of images and prehistoric ways of, showcasing and so many other things. That part is still a debate. Who owns? Is it you? Is it the platform? Is it the AI? Is it whoever? Until further notice, and some platforms have started changing, you are the prompter. So you have that creative thinking and then the tool is just doing whatever it is. Some other platform, they decided, no, I want to put a timestamp or a name stamp that this image is being produced by this AI tool and so on and so on. And some others, they didn't do that. They put a hidden stamp. You cannot detect it within the eye. You need to run algorithms and so on. So it's a very debatable thing, but we've seen one of the best artworks that, I think for me, and that one that year, that was back in end of 2023. It's a beautiful piece of art. It won the best art world in the world. It was something super amazing created by AI, and it was credited to somebody. But it was a competition for AI creation and so on. So it's still vague, but until further notice, it is owned by the prompter, whoever. That's why the next thing you should learn is prompt engineering. That's the power. You don't need to learn AI, you don't need to learn anything, but what is the right way of prompting so you can get whatever you want?
Yes, that's the most critical thing, actually, in AI.
It's a new major.
Yeah.
And then this is
actually,
where your team...
by the way, we have a workshop soon about this at I Have Learned Academy, because other than Leptivity, I also have an academy. So we're going to have a very nice workshop about AI and how to improve your productivity using AI. And the prompts are going to have a very
But that's the thing. That's a
section.
transformation. You are into the media business for a while. And then you came up, and then I have a gap, which is education. You learn what you don't learn in school,
Yes.
which is very important. And then this is where you created another innovation for yourself.
Yeah.
And then you were able to advance this into filling a gap that, I don't know who attended, Randa's, anybody attended from here, Randa's trainings anytime? Nice.
Academy. Yeah.
So it's a really new way of how you learn. And this is what we need today. Information is there, but we need it catered in the right way, and this is what also you're trying to innovate on this. And everyone is like innovating in his space, trying to do something and produce and then move the agenda forward, if you want to call it.
I see. And I want to do a quick checkup here on the audience. I want to ask you if you think AI is actually enhancing or replacing the creativity of the human mind. Let's see who thinks AI is enhancing by the raise of hands. AI is enhancing the creativity
Five,
of the
six,
human
seven,
mind.
8, 9,
Okay,
one in the back, 10.
And who thinks
11?
that AI is replacing the creativity of the human mind? Replacing. Wow. We have like, so enhancing is the majority, right?
We have a study on this. We have a study on this.
Yes. خلينا نرجع نجرب. That's a very good point.
Very
So,
deep mind.
But most of you I noticed said enhancing, but you know it's very critical. يعني سيف ذو حدين مثل ما بيقولوا.
of
It's how
course.
you use it. So it's actually you can use it to
Enhance or?
replace.
There's a problem now. There's a study on youth, and I know from my kids, they don't want to answer me anymore. They want to answer me what ChatGPT answers. So that's something we've noticed. And then the study talks about this, that especially the youth are so dependent today that they don't want to think and so on and so on. So that's where our control, we need to control more, even though, okay, do use ChatGPT, but don't use it for everything and don't over-depend on it.
Yeah.
Because the mind needs, it's a muscle in the end of the day. It needs exercise. If you don't exercise it,
And also, you know, being a university instructor, there's a very big shift for me because when we started, like everyone used to have his project. I know they write it. Okay, sometimes there's some research on Google, but now sometimes I have identical projects. It's like a disaster.
very
How can
identical.
I need some tips on how to detect.
now, that's the thing. When you write with AI, it's directly detected using AI. And then there's a lot of tools to try to masquerade it and then play with it. But we've seen also another shift, which is fine, but we need to control it a little bit. Some students who were not, performing well, all of a sudden there's a huge performance in the research part or in the projects part because they fully utilized the AI. We don't want to stop this, but we want always to have that human element part of this. So we are pro AI, but have it controlled in one way that you are the master of it, not the other way around. So it's a tough world, and then it's more bound to be more. Soon we'll have glasses that are very smart, so face detection, discussions, and whatever. There will be prompt also on our glasses. There's a lot of advancements happening. Something called super intelligence is upon us within the next 2-3 years, and then you're going to hear about it very soon. 2 years is very soon. Super intelligence is something, with all of this, is another level into the future. Let's wait. Robots are coming.
Yes.
Robotics is a major milestone within the next 3 to 5 years. So things are shifting.
And concerning Lebanon, if you want to compare Lebanon to the global digital trends, where do we think that we stand, and what are the challenges that maybe we are facing in terms of,
we want to thank Veritech for this, right?
Yeah.
That's a big applause for
A big
them.
applause for Veritech.
Because they are part of this ecosystem that they're trying to change the narrative. But it is depending on certain initiatives. Veritech is an initiative, some other places initiative. You have an initiative, I have an initiative. People are, there was a study back in 2023 that all our youth are studying for Dubai or the UAE or for the Gulf. They're not studying for what's happening here because our curriculum is super old, outdated, and so on. So that's one indicator. Now, on the personal side, I know a lot of youth and a lot of hard worker professionals and so on. They are definitely on the trend. And then we have one of the brightest minds. Whatever we do, I faced a problem in Bahrain. They didn't allow me a certain quota of Lebanese in Bahrain because I was getting around 15 people. They told me more than 5, sorry, we cannot do it due to political and whatever reason. I hope now things have changed. So when I went to other nationalities, I couldn't find something in our caliber and in the same pay. So we are, at this point of time, much more affordable. We are much brighter on a personal perspective. Now, when we come to government perspective, let's jump before this new ministries that was formed. We were, I think, in a disaster world on a political side, economical side of AI, and position side on the global scale. We were out of scale by far. With the new minister, Kamal, I think things have changed. And he's a very active person. I think you've seen him all over, and I'm sure you've met him many times because he's very outward, and then he's participating in everything. And in the same time, he's trying to do something within the next, he still have 12 months. So he's trying to change the narrative within the few months that he has. And that, I think, will bring us forward. He did a roadmap. Somehow, we're involved, still not directly, but we're trying to support as much as we can. There's another project with the e-government. Hopefully, it will also have some smart materials in it, was it AI and different things. We're pushing on the blockchain agenda because we've seen a few months ago, even the records are being deleted. So that's another kind of corruption that's happening. With blockchain, you cannot do that at one time. But anyway, going back to the AI and the media and the digital aspect, I think now we are in a better position once there's a roadmap. Our curriculum renovation should be out within the next few months. It was out for 3 years being studied to include robotics, AI, and STEAM education within every single school from public to... So we are in a better position. I think within the next year, our scoring will be between 80 and 90 global. So that's a big step going from 170, 180 into 80 and 90. This is what we assume. And hopefully we have more and more initiatives and more companies coming from outside and investing. And we've seen some of the investment partners here in Berytech. We thank them for sponsoring this event and making it happen. So there's a big, if you want to, positive vibe within the next year, and hopefully we can grow this all together and then make Lebanon not just great again. We've seen yesterday Fadi from Humal, who is creating something, and then they created a free zone for him technically, which is good, but since not for him, of course, but he was the main lobby. Why should he import stuff to export them the next day and pay fees and whatever? So there's a lot of advancements and regulations also that needs to be taken place, and hopefully we are in the right state of mind for them to happen.
And if we speak a bit about the different types of media that AI is contributing to, what do you suggest? For example, I know there's Grok for X.
Anyone uses Grok? 1?
Grok.
2.5?
Voila.
I think Grok is amazing. I learned yesterday from my daughter, there's something called Kling.ai. It does amazing video content.
What's the name?
Kling, Kling.ai. It does amazing video.
Wow.
Something out of this world. I was like, okay, I need to go back and learn. I'm always learning.
So actually, the new generation are gonna beat us up.
Yes,
right?
yes. That's one of the things that we have. It's a catch-22 with the new generation. Sometimes they show you super smartness, and at the same time they show you they're too reliant on this technology. Now, Grok, I think Grok is one of the most amazing platforms on the AI side from different aspects, and if you are subscribed to it, it opens up more than the traditional things. On the image generation, it has a beautiful engine because we're talking, sometimes it happened, one of my creative people that works to create some of the banners for me and so on was not available. So I jumped directly to Grok, to many different things. I know they were not the best. I jumped to Grok and I solved my problem within the next few seconds because it has a good engine that it is doing. Amazing. OpenAI couldn't do it. Grok solved it. And I was like, interesting. So I shifted my team for this specific type of work. They can do it. And now we are producing even more. So that's the power of whatever large language model. Each one has a power here or there. You have to learn what's the power of this one versus the other one versus the third one. And hopefully we will have our own Lebanese large language model one day so that it also push us and push the Lebanese agenda and the Lebanese culture and history, I think this is very important not to lose it. And there was another trial in UAE to push the Arab agenda through using Falcon LLM. Anyway, so try to test, depending on your background and what is the output, which one is better for you, and then do adopt it and move forward. But all of them, more or less, are now on a university level, if I want to call them. They are very smart. They can help a lot in different things. And then we're up to another wave. DeepSeek changed the whole narrative. Does anyone use DeepSeek? 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, you see? So it changed the narrative. And funny enough, DeepSeek can be installed on your laptop. So you don't need a huge computing. You don't need to pay large amounts of subscriptions and tokens and so on, and then you can still be creative. I have one problem when I travel, because I travel a lot. I need something with me on the plane, and all of them are disconnected. So this is where DeepSeek and Llama, Meta Llama of Facebook, and Meta company also could be installed.
So you're AI addicted.
Big time. I'm guilty.
Okay. So let's say you are now the consultant of all the media in Lebanon.
Yes.
What would you recommend for each type of media to enhance their digital shift? So let's say if we want to move each media type, what would you tell them?
What we've seen, I was in a discussion yesterday with somebody. He was telling me that he's trying to convince all of the media that what they're doing is outdated, because the way they think, let's create a new brand and studio branding and that's it.
Yeah.
Is it really it? In traditional mind, it could be a new brand or a new identity and so on, but in the aspects, nothing has changed. So we've seen, I think in Mexico, for 6 months, they ran a test. There was a celebrity, local celebrity, that was created to create the news. For 6 months, nobody knew it was AI, reporting on daily basis. And it was a huge celebrity. So could we capitalize on this? But what does it mean for you and me? Are we losing jobs or not? So you have to also cater that part. So that's one thing. The other part is internal optimization. AI helps in optimizing on your day-to-day. And that's why AI was created in the first place. You know, you have huge data. What do you do with it? So today, every single decision you need to take, you have to be based on data. If it is not based on data, I'm not taking a decision. This is how I work, and this is what I consult. When I go to companies and I consult them, because I'm a digital transformation consultant, the first thing we start is we go back to the drawing board on the data they have. And this is where we discover they have a lot of data, but nothing makes sense. So we go back, we redraw, restructure their data, and then now we can have the power of AI. If I go and deploy their AI, yes, they can have ChatGPT because out of the box, just to say as an example. But in reality, it doesn't reflect their data. It doesn't reflect their environment. So imagine having ChatGPT on internal data, on the internal structure, on internal information, on graphs, on graphics, on videos, and so on. In a prompt, you can check your archives. Yes. On one prompt, you can create whatever, but based on your culture. So that's something that's not been done so far. This is from the large language model and the AI itself. Projection, prediction, and so on. There's many things that they can do also. Why should media or TVs or radio station predict? They should be working on data. It's not just, there's a major problem today in radio stations. I don't know if you agree with me, in the Lebanese radio stations.
What's your problem?
Something is not right. There's something not right. The way they perform, and especially on the English sector, there's something, they will die soon, I think.
Do you think they will have robots soon as presenters?
They should be doing something new.
Like what?
Changing the format first. Maybe enabling some more fun activities within the AI itself, engaging the audience, because the whole media has shifted into what? One of the major parts, the social and the AI aspect, into you. How can we engage you more? Not just by phone, not just by call, but actually live.
They do competitions.
That's where things has changed. Media has become part of live data, getting and interacting. It's no more just one way. It's two ways,
Two ways.
open for all, and live. That's very important.
Yeah.
Podcasting, every now station has been jumping one way or another. It's not the best way, but you can enroll, as I mentioned earlier on, we're creating AI podcasts. So now we're on another level. Will that be
How
sustained?
does it function, AI podcasts?
If you go to Google Large Language Model, okay, just Google it, and you upload one PDF, whatever topic you want. And it will upload it. You prompt it to create whatever you want based on this PDF. Let's say I want to talk about the future of media in Lebanon. I just upload whatever it is, and then I prompt it, and they start a discussion automatically. You can choose the voice, you can choose the tone, you can choose male or female or whatever. And then there's a new feature now where you can join this conversation.
Oh,
So now you become
and they
free.
will answer you.
And they will answer you live based on the history of large language model, the PDF that is updated, the data, and now you are joined. So this could be running as a channel by itself, and no one is. So that's a new kind of business that is going on in the world, but not in our area, because it's super new. This is super
Cool, you
super
gave
new.
me an idea, actually.
So we started, testing and investing because we need to innovate. If I was not innovating, I'm not here. Very simple.
Yes.
What I've done in the last 5 years is purely innovation in the media. That's why today I'm sitting here. Very simple. So the innovation part has to be part of what we're going and then focusing on.
So I think the time is up, but I wanted also to
Questions?
say that on Leptivity, we are planning also to have some AI to recommend for you the best events. What do you think? Do you think we should go for it? Who says yes? You.
Randa, I don't know if you started, I have a gift for you.
What?
I will implement it.
Woohoo!
I'm serious, I'm not just talking.
We will talk now. So let's see what we will do together.
No, it's easy. And we can implement it within the next 24 hours.
Really?
Yes.
I've been working on it for 3 months. Where did you?
That's the power of AI.
It's my mistake that I didn't call you. You were
Yalla.
always with us anyway. Okay, so let's talk about this immediately, so that tomorrow you use the AI on Leptivity. So I want to thank you very much for your attention and for being here.
Any questions? We have time for questions.
Any questions? I don't know if we still have time for a question by the audience. We wanted to make it interactive, but
Time
I think
flies.
we got late with the other panel. Maria, how much time do we still have? We're up? Okay,
Oh,
okay, so thank you so much for joining, and stay tuned. Follow us, Leptivity, also on Instagram.
Likewise,
And
Rudy
Rudy.
Shushani available all
You
over.
can see the logos. And we see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.